जैसे बुलाते नहीं,
जैसे बुलाते नहीं।
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्।
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्।
बुलाते नहीं।
मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं।
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्।
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्।
Sound one, 1, 2. Sri Ganeshaya Namaha, Sri Saraswate Namaha, Sri Gurubhyo Govindayebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dhanti Prachodhayatam. Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mitror Mukshiyamam Pratata. Yatra yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Katamistakanjalim Vashtapapalilochanam Maruti Namaharakshasantakam Anjaneyaya Vidmahe Vayaputraya Dhimahi Tanno Hanuman Prachodaya. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om. Welcome to each and everyone this evening at the Ramjit and Basso Persad Hindu Mandir at 52 Mohipa Trace in Talana Village in Piaku. My name is Pandit Veda Persad and I welcome you to the ashram here in Mohipa Trace in Talana Piaku, joining and welcoming you here in person as well as those joining on our live feed on the Ramjit and Basso Persad Hindu Temple Facebook page as well as YouTube. Together with the Chinmaya Mission, Trinidad and Tobago, welcoming this evening none other than illustrious Swami Prakashananda Ji, who is joining us for Ramayana Satsang on their 108 nights of Ramayana Satsang Caribbean Tour 2023. It gives us great pleasure to be here this evening to be able to welcome such an esteemed individual representing none other than the humility and the bhakt of Sri Ram himself. For those of you who know Swami well, you know he is a man full of character, full of humility, and most of all, full of many, many jokes. And I'm sure he's going to keep us laughing tonight, like he has for the nights before and the nights to come. On behalf of the members of the Mandir, as well as the members of the community, we welcome you to Mohipa Trace in St. Helena. And we tuned into the energies of the divine being. You know, this mandir was built in 2014 on the foundation of my father. Wherever his soul is, may he be greatly blessed by none other than Prabhu Sri Ram, as Hanumanji's name was always on his lips together with Sri Ram for his entire life. And I know Swamiji knows him personally from using this language here, right? Because from very, very young, when I was not yet in existence, back down in Dow Village in California, you know, way before my time. But very, very fondly, you know, over the years, they shared a very, 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 very lovely relationship. And that kept grounded in the name of scripture, in the name of Sanatan Dharma. And his life's work is an example of what is taking place here tonight. An institution built like this for purposes like this. So his physical body is no more, but the work he has done, we are now benefiting from this. And you and I, together with those joining us virtually, I urge you to sit comfortably wherever you are, or with eyes closed, whichever is comfortable to you, and tune in to the sweet voice of Swami Prakashananda Ji.
बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. Thank you so much, Vedji, for your wonderful introduction. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the continuation of this most wonderful and holy exercise of Ramcharitamanas, Ram Katha across the Caribbean. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Raghuram Jai Sitaram Jai Shri Ram Let us all join as we do salutations to Bhagwan Ganesh, to Mother Saraswati, to Guru, Bhagwan Shri Ram, and lastly to Hanumanji. Gajananam Bhutaganaatisevitam Kapitajambu Halasarabhakshanam Umasutam Shokavinaashakaranam Namami Vighaneshwaram Pankajam Yakundendu Tusharahardhavala Yashubha Vastravrita Yavina Varadandamandita Kara Yashveta Padvasana Ya Brahmachyuta Shankar Prabhritibhi Devai Sada Vandita Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jadyapaha Samast जन कल्याण निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मवेद्वरम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः लोकाभिरामम् रणरङ्गधीरम् राजीवनेत्रम् रघुवंशनाथम् कारुण्यरूपम् करुणाकरं तं श्रीरामचन्द्रम् शरणं प्रपद्ये मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं धीमतां वरिष्ठम् वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। बोलो राम 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 सीता राम 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 बोलो राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
राजा राम 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 सीता राम राम राम
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी तव उस दशरथ अजिर बिहारी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय राम जय जय रामा
मंगल भवन मंगलहारी द्रव उस दशरथ अजिर बिहारी
श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा
रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आई प्राण जाई वरु बचन न जाई
श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा
बिनु सत्संग भी एक न होई राम कृपा बिनु सुलभ न सोई श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम होई सोई जो राम रचि राखा को करि तर्क बढ़ावे साखा।
श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
रामचरित मानस एहि नामा, सिंहासन वासा।
श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
रामचरित मानस एहि नामा, सुनत श्रवण पाइय विश्रामा।
श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
रचि महेश निज मानस राखा, पाई सुसम सिंहासन भाषा।
श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
राम कथा के तेई अधिकारी, जिनके सत्संगति अति प्यारी।
श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
बोलो राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
बोलो राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
राजा राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
राजा राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
हरे राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
हरे राम राम राम, सीता राम राम राम।
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। जो सुमिरत सिद्धि होई, गणनायक करी बर बदना। करऊ अनुग्रह सोई, बुद्धि राशि शुभ गुण सगना। होई वाचाल, अंगुचरय गिरिवर गहना। जासु कृपा सुदयाल, प्रभु सकल करिमल दहन। नील सरोरुह श्याम, करुण अरुण बारिक नयन। मम उर्धाम, सदा क्षीर सागर सयन। कुंद इंदु समदेह, उमा रमन करुणायन। जाहि दीन परनेह, करहु कृपा मर्दन मयन। बंद गुरुपद कंज, कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि। महामोहतम कुंज, जासु बचन रवि कर निकर। जासु बचन रवि कर निकर, जासु बचन रवि कर निकर। बोले सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Last night when we left, Bhagwan Shiva chanted the most famous verse in this Ramcharitmanas. I'm sure all of you know this verse. We chanted earlier also. But if a person doesn't know anything in Ramcharitmanas, he'll know this verse. Comes from the divine lips of Bhagwan Shankar himself. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram प्रभु सुदशरथ अजीर बिहारी
श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा
बंदव बाल रूप सोई राम
श्री राम जय रामा
सब सिद्धि सुलभ जपत जिसु नाम
श्री राम जय रामा
मंगल भवन अमंगल हारी प्रभु सुदशरथ अजीर बिहारी
श्री राम जय रामा श्री राम जय रामा
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय रामा
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. Why this verse is important is because the Ramcharitmanas, having 7 kandas, begins with Balakanda. And it is here that Bhagavan Shiva is about to reveal the whole Ramcharitmanas to Parvati ji. This is the way now, see, Doha number 111, way down in Balkand, Bhagavan Shiva is now going to start Ramayana. I think all our Ramayanists and all Pravachankar and our Babaji and Swamis and everybody, I think they follow this tradition only. Because as soon as they come at 7 o'clock, they never start Ramayana. We never start. Now it is 7:24 and still I haven't started. Well, we're following to Ramcharitmanas only. Well, 111 dohas multiplied by 7. So more than 700 verses already gone. And Ramayana is still not started. Lot of introduction and all of that kind of thing. So it's good. We call it preparing the mind. You know that. When we come home, nowadays you have many modern terminologies. What? You come home from a hard day's work, you have to sit down and unwind. Have you heard that? Unwind. Because when you go to work, they wind you up. So when you come home, you have to unwind. Preparation of the mind is a very, very important thing. And so the whole Ramcharitmanas, prior to this, and let me just tell you, Bhagavan Shiva had gone to listen to Ram Katha, let us call it Ram Katha. He had gone to listen to Ram Katha from Agastya Muni. Sati ji had also gone, but Sati ji did not listen properly. She listened only with her head. But we have to listen with our head and our heart integrated. You can't listen with heart alone because you will not understand a thing. And you can't listen with head alone because you will get no ras. Ras means nectar. It will be dry. And you will end up with only doubts, argumentation, kutark, all those type of things. So we have to listen with head and heart, integrated. Well, the half of this Balkan, which is already gone, was dedicated to the marriage of Bhagavan Shiva and Parvati. This is Ramcharitmanas, this is Ram Katha, the story of Ram. But Tulsidaji dedicates half of the this Balkan to only the marriage of Shiva and Parvati. So when you start reading 111 dohas, 700 verses already gone, you think, this is Ramayana or this is Shivayan? Because the story of Shiva is going on. So the idea is, Tulsidaji is trying to tell all of us there, this marriage between these two is the integration of head and heart. When head and heart have integrated well, then the Jiva is ready to merge with Ishvara. The Jiva is now in a position, he becomes Adhikari. Adhikari is a big word in Sanatana Dharma. Adhikari means fit recipient for this divine knowledge. So Adhikaritva is what is important. Because Adhikaritva is there in every walk of life. Adhikaritva is there in every walk of life. You just haven't paid attention to it. You see, if you want to go to standard 5, you have to finish standard 4 now. So you have to be fit to go to standard 5 every day. If you want to drive on the nation's roads, you have to be a fit driver. Well, mostly. Let me just, because you could get your driving license some other ways also. Now they have online course also. So, Adhikaritva, if you want to vote, you have to reach a certain age. So now you are fit to vote. So it is there everywhere. So in the same way, to really get the essence out of Ramcharitamanas, this Ram Katha, we have to have an integrated head and heart. One will not do. So this marriage between Shiva Parvati and half of Balkand is to symbolize this thing, that the preparation for the Ramcharitamanas or Ram Katha, which is coming now, requires integrated head and heart. And when this integration is there, anything is possible in this world. This is very, very important. What you end up with is a balanced individual who has equipoise and equilibrium, will be able to sail across the vagaries of this world very nicely. So, now, they have gotten married. In the first half, Shiva Parvati Vivaha is over. And Bhagwan Shiva and Parvati ji, they are sitting on Kailash one day. And Parvati ji asked, Prabhu, please tell me this Ramcharitamanas, tell me this Ram Katha. And Lord Shiva starts, like this is what we saw. Now, he starts by saying, Bandhav Bala Rupa Soi Ramu. I do salutations to the childhood or child form of Ram, Bala Rup. Shivji does salutations to the Bala Rup, child form of Ram. You must know that Bhagwan Shiva's Ishta Devata is Ram. And Ishta Devata means in all of us, our life, there will be some form of God that we like very much. Some form of that Lord whom we like, whom we are attracted to, who we feel we can befriend. So Bhagwan Shiva befriended Bhagwan Ram as his Ishtadev, his prominent deity. And Rama had his prominent deity as Lord Shiva Deva, like that. Each other. So now, he's going to tell this most holy lake of the acts of Bhagwan Ram, all his pastimes, which is called as Ram Katha. And before he does salutations. You know that? This is a very strong part of Sanatana Dharma, that before we embark on anything, we always do prostrations here, prostrations. Like for example, just now, I cannot see myself as coming into the temple and just come here and sit and start. In Sanatana Dharma, it's inconceivable. First you have to go and do prostrations and you do all the... And you don't even have to think. That it just comes out naturally. So salutations is a big, big thing in Sanatana Dharma. So Bhagwan Shiva himself, Bandhav Bala Roop. And one more thing, this is Balakanda. So if you're going to start, you remember the Balakanda means the Kanda, which deals with the childhood of Bhagwan Ram. So he remembers. And then he says, Mangala Bhavana Mangala Hari Dravau Sudashiratha Ajira Bihari. Bihari means, not our Bihari ji who is sitting here. Bihari means Vihari. Vihari means one who walks about, roams, plays, sports about, like that. Vihari. So this Bhagwan Ram is the one who walks about where? Drabhausa Dasharatha Ajir. Who walks about in the Angan of Dasharath Ji Maharaj, means in his courtyard. And of course, blessing Dasharathji Maharaj. And this Ram is like that. And he's Mangala Bhavana Amangala Hari, Rama. You see, I'm telling the meaning of this verse because everybody chant, but even I chanted for so many years without knowing meaning. He's Mangala Bhavan, the abode of auspiciousness. Who? This Bhagwan Ram. And Amangala Hari, and the remover, the eradicator of Amangal, all inauspiciousness. And this Bhagwan Ram, he sports about in the Angan, in courtyard. दशरथ जी के आंगन में खेलने वाले वे बाल रूप श्री रामचंद्र जी मुझ पर कृपा करे. May that Bhagwan Ram have blessed me so that I will be able to complete this Ramcharitamanas. This is Bhagwan Shiva himself praying, and it's a prayer. And because we saw last night now, Parvati ji had asked all about Ramcharitamanas, the table of contents we had seen. Why Bhagwan Ram took avatar, ityadi, this. All things she had asked. Now, for that, Bhagwan Shiva praises profusely this Parvati. You asked the right question. You asked about Ram Katha. You want to know all the right things. You didn't come and ask me about what I cook in today. Otherwise, we ask all the worldly things only, So, when we meet somebody who is on the spiritual path, what we should ask? We should ask all spiritual things only, not all worldly things. After praising Parvati ji for asking the right question. Now see, that itself is such a big thing. Because when we meet any spiritual person, we should engage in satsanga, not means engage our mind in spiritual things. Look here, you can find out all the worldly things, in any case, outside in the world. So when we meet a spiritual person, we should ask all spiritual things. So for this reason, Bhagwan Shiva praises Parvati ji profusely. And then, after praising Parvati ji for asking those questions, he praises Ram Katha. And here are some wonderful verses on this Ram Katha. Now this is after 112, for those who are Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Jin Hari Katha suni nahi kana, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shravan Randra hi Bhavan Samana,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Nayan nisant daras nahi dekha, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Lochan mor pankh kar lekha, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Te sir kat tumhari samtula,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Jain namat hari gur pad moola,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Jin Hari Bhagati Hridaya Nayani, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Jeevat Sav Saman Te Prani, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, करई राम गुण गाना।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
जी हसो दादुर जी समाना।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
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 श्री राम जय जय
राम। श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। जिन हरि कथा सुनी नहीं काना, श्रवण रंध्र अहि भवन समाना. Those heirs that have not listened, Bhagavan Shiva turned to Parvati ji because she just asked about Ram Katha. And blessed you are for asking about this Ram Katha. And those heirs that have not listened to Ram Katha, Shravana Randra Ahi Bhavana Samana. Those heirs are like the snake holes. You know, on the side of the mountain, on the side of the hill, there are holes and snakes live in there. So those heirs that have not listened to Ram Katha, those heirs are like those snake holes. Because the only blissful and nectarine thing in this world is this Ram Katha actually. Otherwise, all these things that we are listening to in this world is all poisonous only. You go around and just listen and you will see all things. That's why nobody listening to the news nowadays. Have you seen? So they tell me something, oh God, I can't listen to this news now. It'll give me a headache. So let's turn off the TV and put something else. Those are all poisonous things we only hear. And you take up any newspaper, who killed who, where they died, this, that, only all. So those heirs that have not listened to Ram Katha, those heirs are like snake holes. Nayana hi sant darasa nahi dekha, lochana mor pankh lekha. Means those eyes that have not gotten darshan of saints and sages, those eyes are like the eyes on a peacock feather. You know, peacocks on their feathers, their eyes. Those eyes are good for nothing. Because they can't see. If those eyes were good, the peacock would have seen behind. Tesira katutumbari samatula jenana mata hari gurapada mula. That head that has not bowed down to Hari Gura Mula, Padamula, means the feet of Hari and Guru, means Bhagavan, the Lord and Guru. Those heads, that head, Jenanamata, singular, that head that has not bowed down to the feet of Hari and the feet of the Guru, that head, he says, like Katutumbari. You know the Katutumbari? I don't know if you remember, many of you may remember, people my age may remember. Long ago, when people plant lauki and jhingi and this ninwa and satputya and those kind of things, of that family, there used to be a wild one which used to grow up. And that is to be real bitter. You know the hair of the cucumber, how is bitter? That is to be bitter like that. Katutumbari, they call it. Wild lauki, bitter lauki. So when the farmer passing and he sees this wild one grow up among the good ones, they just take the cutlass and so what Tulsidas is using that example. So that head that has not bowed down to Guru and Govind, Hari and Guru, that head is like that wild Katutumbari. It just has to be a severe thing. Yeah? Don't think that Tulsidas is trying to scare you. That tomorrow if you don't bow down to the Guru, your head will be cut off. Not like that. What he means to say, that hair is as useless as that Katutumbari. That is the idea. Nobody wants it. Jina Hari Bhagati Hridaya Nahi Ani Jivata Savasamana Tei Prani. That heart in which the love for Bhagavan has not come, he says that person is as good as dead. Even though he is alive, he is as good as dead. This line was taken and made into a bhajan. I'm sure you all heard this line. जो राम नाम नहीं गाते वो जीते जी मर जाते. जो राम नाम नहीं गाते वो जीते जी मर जाते. जो राम नाम गाते हैं वो परम धाम पाते हैं. बोलो राम सिया राम, राम सिया
राम सिया राम जय जय राम.
राम सिया राम जय जय राम. राम सिया राम jai jai Ram. This bhajan is from this line. Actually, that is what all of us singers and all bhajankar and all they do. They take one line from Ramcharitmanas and they make a whole bhajan. So that's where it has come from. Say, those people who have not chanted the name of Ram and those people who don't have bhakti for Ram, Bhagwan in their heart, those people, they are as good as dead. जो राम नाम नहीं गाते वो जीते जी मर जाते. जीते जी मर जाते means even though living they are dead. So here same thing. So jivat sava samana. Sava means a corpse. So jivat, living, he is like a corpse. जो नहीं करई राम गुण गाना जी हसो दादुर जी हसमाना. Who's not chanted the name of Ram, his tongue like a tongue of a frog. Strong words from Tulsidaji. You know? If I have not chanted the name of Ram, my tongue is like the tongue of a frog. What it does? Goes on croaking only. Croak, croak, croak. I don't know how people in the Western world, how they come up with these sounds of frogs. When we go to our Tapovan ashram in the mountains, we hear frogs, right? But I never, up till today, never hear a frog going, read it, read it. Which frog does go read it? But in English, when you ask a child, how a frog goes, they say, read it, read it. Anyway, Kulisakatora Nitura Soi Chati Suni Hari Charitana Jo Harishati. And that heart is like stone. That heart is like stone. That heart which has listened to Ram Katha and has not become happy. You listen to Ramayana and you have not become happy. That means your heart like stone. After listening to Ram glories of Bhagwan, my heart is supposed to melt. You come and listen the whole day. And when does Baba go finish? When does Swamiji go keep quiet? I'll wait for the Persad. Heart like stone. Girija sunahu Ram ke lila surahit danuja vimohana sila. Oh Girija, listen to Ram Katha now. That Ram Katha which brings benefit to all the devatas and which mesmerizes everybody in this universe. Ram Katha suradhenu sama sevat sava sukha dani. Sata samaj sura loka sabha kona sune asa jani. This Ram Katha is like Suradhenu, like that wish-fulfilling cow. And the storehouse of all joy. When we listen, we get joy. And now he praises in the next line itself. Or we just go. Yeah, next line. राम कथा सुंदर करतारी.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम.
संशय बिहग उड़ावनिहारी.
श्री राम जय
कथा कली बिटप कुटारी
श्री राम जय जय राम
सादर सुनु गिरिराज कुमारी
श्री राम जय राम
राम काम गुण चरित सुहाए
श्री राम जय राम
जन्म करम अगणित श्रुति गाए
श्री राम जय राम
जथा अनंत राम भगवाना
श्री राम जय राम
कथा कीरति तथा कथा कीरति गुण नाना
श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम
जय रघुराम जय सीताराम
जय
राम सियावर रामचंद्र की जय राम कथा सुंदर कर तारी राम कथा is like Ram Katha is a clap. But you know, when in the old days, nowadays you don't see, when people used to dry corn outside or dry rice or put urdi dal to dry, the birds used to come and eat. Then somebody will come out from the house and just do, and all the birds will. And this is an old time thing. Nowadays, I don't know if anybody do anything like that. When your neighbor's dog come by you, so this is Ram Katha is like a beautiful clap. What it does, samsaya bihaga uravani hari. It drives away all the birds of doubt. And this doubt is a big thing. And this is actually what happened to Sati. She doubted this Ram and Ram Katha and the efficacy of the Paramatma and all sorts of things. People doubt the Lord, they doubt. So many people are atheists. And even people who consider themselves to be theist, they still doubt so many things. So Sati also was doubting this Rama of Ayodhya is the same Rama which the scripture speaks about Paramatma. Like that, she had a big doubt. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Samshaya Atma Vinashyati, the one who doubts, he perishes. Because he will not move up, he will move down. Ram Katha Kali Bitapa Kuthari. This Ram Katha, he is giving similes. Ram Katha is like a axe. We listen to Ram Katha, we engage more and more. That's why you see we are doing it throughout the whole Caribbean. So because we want everybody to listen to this Ram Katha. Ram Katha Kali Bitapa Kuthari. In this Kali Yuga, it's like an axe to cut down the tree of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, somebody was asking just now while coming, how far are we into Kali Yuga? We just start. And if things so bad already, imagine. Sunu, Sadara Sunu. And he tells Parvati ji, now, just listen. Oh, Parvati, now you listen very simply, with humility, that is the idea. But he says, there is one thing which I did not like. Just before 114, Lord Shiva expresses his heart to Parvati ji. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
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 एक बात नहीं मोहि सोहानी.
Shri Ram Jai Ram,
मोह बस कहे भवानी।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
तुम जो कहाँ राम को आना।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
जही श्रुति गाव धरहि मुनि ध्याना।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
एक बात नहीं मोही Sohani, there's one thing which you said I did not like. You see, we should try as much as possible not to. Even Bhagwan Shiva is now expressing his dissatisfaction with something which Parvati ji had said. What she had said? That how can that Ram who is walking in this forest and crying and looking for his wife, how can that be the same Ram which the scriptures speak about and on whom the rishis meditate? That Ram who is called as Paramatma in all the scriptures. How can this Ram be that same Ram? I didn't like that thing. He's telling, when you said that, I didn't like. Why? Because it is not good to insult another person's Ishtadev or their Guru or any such thing, you see. So for example, if that person's Ishtadev, this will come again in Uttarakhand. Because Kakabhushundi was a devotee of Lord Shiva. And anybody who was a devotee of Bhagwan Vishnu, he used to say, oh, these people are useless. So we should never say that person is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, he is useless. He is a devotee of Ganesh, he is useless. Only if you are a devotee of Shiva, you are a boss. People think like that only. That only what they are doing. And this is a human disease. We always feel we are right and everybody else is correct or not. That is what is at the center of so many problems in this world. Whichever deity I worship, everybody should be, whichever form of God I worship, everybody should be worshipping that form. Whichever religion I belong to, everybody should belong to that religion. They should not be practicing something else. That is why the nature of the world is variety. You know that now, even if you study biology in school. This cells go on multiplying and splitting, isn't it? Splitting and multiplying. The whole universe is that. Variety, multiplicity is the very structure of the universe. Okay. Have you ever seen two leaves on the same tree, exactly alike? Try, you will see. If you could bring two leaves from any tree, which is exactly the same, you will be the greatest human being on the earth. You can't. Because Bhagwan doesn't repeat. The Lord doesn't repeat. Everything in this universe is unique. They may look alike, but they can never be alike. Two ants. You go outside and catch two ants. They will never be the same. Some little differences will be there. One of them will be losing a little antler, like, something. Because there is no repetition in the universe. Unique. So that preservation of that uniqueness is also commended. The world has a natural variety and a multiplicity. So now, if that one wants to worship like that, that other one wants to worship, let him worship. But many people, they don't like that. No, you should worship who I worship. You see? So we respect everybody's, this is a wonderful thing about Sanatana Dharma, we respect everybody's choice in their worship and all of that. So now, you cannot go and ill-speak anybody's form of God and all. So when Parvati ji said, Asati, when she had said, how can that Ram be this Ram? The Ram of the Upanishads, Ram of the scriptures and all, on who the rishis meditate. How can that supreme Paramatma on who they meditate, how can it be this ordinary person crying here? And Bhagavan Shiva and Agastya Muni both are told, it is the same Ram. But she said it. So Bhagavan Shiva is telling, and this is a good thing, just to remind all of us, we should be sensitive to other people's practices and their mode of worship and all of that sort of thing, and don't go on saying things about people's worship and all. Now, what is very interesting is there are two pictures painted by Sati, two pictures painted by Parvati ji about this Paramatma. One, this Paramatma is unseen, he's meditated on by the rishis, and he is all pervasive, and all that, is a substratum of the universe. And then the other one is Ram, who was, that same Paramatma was incarnated as Ram in human form. So those two things are there, painted by Sati. And this is where she has the doubt whether both are one and same. So the first one is the Upanishadic conceptualization of Paramatma, the absolute reality, the substratum of the universe and all. And interestingly, Bhagavan Shiva starts with that conceptualization. Bhagavan Shiva's teaching, what we call as Gyan Marg. He starts teaching about that absolute Paramatma. Forget about the form which is here, Bhagavan Ram and the forest and all of that. He talks about the formless. This is just after 125, see that. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Sunahi agun, sagun nahi agun nahi nahi kachu beda.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Gavahi muni puran buddha beda.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Aguna arupa alang aja joy.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Bhagat prem bas sagun soy.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Jo gun rahit sagun soy kaise.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Jalo hima upal bilag nahi jaise.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Jai Raghu Rama,
Jai Raghu Rama.
Jai Sita Rama,
Jai Sita Rama.
Syavar Ramachandra ki jai. He's trying to build bridges, rather than separate people. He's trying to build bridges. And there's always been a fight in the world. God is without form, formless, or God is with form. So it's called Nirguna. Here it calls Aguna. Or he is with form called Saguna. So there's always been a debate like that. So Tulsidaji says, why are you making argument only? This one is saying without form, Nirgun. This one, Sagun. Nirgun, Sagun. The argument will go on and on. He is with traits and attributes and qualities, or without traits and attributes and qualities. So he says he is both. Why he cannot be both? If he is God and he cannot be both, something wrong with him. Isn't it? Because he is supposed to be Sarvashaktiman. Sarvashaktiman is all powerful. If he is all powerful and we say that there is something which he cannot do, then he is not all powerful. So, something which he cannot do, we say, no, he cannot be with form and without form at one and the same time. Well, that is actually poor understanding. Now we say Bhagavan cannot be with form and without form at one and the same time. Bhagavan has made this whole universe with the pairs of opposites existing in one thing at one and the same time. Do you know? Bhagavan has made the whole universe with the pairs of opposites existing in one thing at one and the same time. One thing is hot and cold at the same time. One thing is big and small at the same time. He has made the whole universe like that. You just haven't thought about it. I am big or small? Well, compared to an ant, I am? Ant means A-N-T ant, not A-U-N-T ant. Compared to a little ant or coronavirus, I am big. But compared to a big pehlwan, wrestler, I am small. So now I'm small or big? But Bhagavan has made the universe like that. Everybody. I'm tall or short? Compared to a midget, I am tall. And compared to a basketball player, I am short. I'm big and small at the same time. I'm tall and short at the same time. The whole universe is like that. Please see this thing. Every single thing. So, Tulsidaji says, Bhagwan is with form and without form at one and the same time. And actually, this is also encapsulated in Einstein's theory of relativity. Everything is relative. The world is really relative. Something is, see, blood is red. If I say blood is red, you will say that's true or false? You say true, isn't it? That also is relative. Truth also is relative. Blood is red, and you say your answer. And this child has a question in the paper. Blood is red, true or false? And the child puts true. That answer also is relative. That is relative truth. Because if you look at blood under a microscope, it looks yellow. So now blood is red, true or false? Well, from the naked eye, it is true. But under a microscope, it is not true. So that's why I'm telling you, the whole universe is because relative. Relative to the naked eyes, it is red. Relative to a microscope, it is yellow. So truth also is relative. So then, you have to now, why are you looking for a yes or a no answer, or right or wrong answer? You're always looking like that. Bhagavan is saguna or nirguna. You're looking for this or this. Tulsidaji resolved that whole thing one time. It's both at one and the same time. And he gives the example in the next line, Actually, when you look at something from two perspectives, you're looking at one and the same thing appearing differently. From this perspective, it looks like this. But the same thing from that perspective looks like that. But you're only seeing one thing, just looking differently from different sides. Give the example of, this is an example which I've been using for years. I didn't realize it came from Ramcharitmanas. Water and ice. Jo guna rahit saguna soi kaise. Something without gunas, without qualities, how can it be with qualities? He says easy, like water and ice. Water has any shape? No shape. What shape water has? No shape. But if you put that water in a little tray with cubes and you put it in the fridge and you freeze it, so now you have cubes. So this one has shape and the liquid has no shape. But both of them are one and same or not? This is H2O and this one is also H2O. No change. This one is without gunas, without nama roop, and this one is nama roop. We call Mr. Cube. And this one? No, he cubeless. So he gives an example like that. Gavahi Muni Purana, Buddha Veda, Aguna Rupa Alakha Aja. The Upanishadic description of this Ram is without form first. But then, why this, how this reality without name and form comes with name and form. He gives, and this is the central tenet of the Ramcharitmanas. Bhagata prema basaguna so hoi. Because of the love or stricken by the love of devotees, that absolute reality, which is formless, takes form. Just like the water, which is H2O, is liquid, but stricken by coldness in the refrigerator, it becomes cube. By something. So, what causes that absolute reality to crystallize into human form? In the fridge, the coldness causes the water to crystallize into cubes. But what causes the absolute reality to crystallize into human form? He says, Bhagata Prem. The love of the devotees. All of our love. We love that Bhagwan, he will take avatar. That is the idea. Or the same thing, the pain of the devotees, and at the same time their love for Bhagwan. He says, Rama Satchitananda Dinesa. He is Satchitananda, the absolute reality. Naita Moha Nisa Lavalesa. He doesn't have one iota of delusion, ignorance, any such thing in him. Sahaja Prakas Rupa Bhagwana. Of the nature of Prakash, light, not Bhagwan Ram. Only pure light of consciousness. Then, Nahita Puni Vijnana Bihana. Bhagwan Ram does not have the dawn of knowledge. This is a kind of reverse kind of sentence. He does not experience the dawn of knowledge. Why? Because in the first place he had no ignorance. See, we are ignorant. So when we get knowledge, we say, oh, knowledge dawned on him. Have you heard? Knowledge dawned on him. For an ignorant person. But Bhagwan doesn't have any such dawn of knowledge. Because he never lost knowledge. The poetry of Tulsidas is amazing. How he has utilized every form of poetry. He continues to describe this Bhagwan Ram in Upanishadic language. Harsha Vishad Jnana Ajnana
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Jiva Dharma Ahamiti Abhimana
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Ram Brahma Vyapak Jag Jana
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Paramanand Pares Purana
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Jaya Raghu Rama
Jaya Raghu Rama
Jaya Sita Rama
Jai Sita Rama
Jaya Shri Rama
Jai Shri Rama
Syavar Ramachandra ki jai. Harsha Vishad Jnana Ajnana Jiva Dharma Ahamiti Abhimana. Now in this chaupai, Tulsidas ji, Bhagwan Shiva is telling to Parvati ji the difference between Jiva and Ishvara. This again will come up in Aranyakand. Ishvara Jiva Bhed Kahu Sakala Kahau Samajhai. In Aranyakand, Lakshmana will ask. But here, Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati, because every guru has to teach their student. Here the guru is Shiva, Lord Shiva, and the Shishya is Parvati ji. There the guru will be Ram, and the Shishya will be Lakshmana. Every guru has to teach Shishya same thing over and over. What's the difference between Jiva and Ishvara? Jiva means the individual, you and I, right? Ishvara means the Supreme Paramatma, God. So the difference is, Harsha Vishad, 1 minute we are happy, 1 minute miserable. Correct? Today we say, I'm having a nice day. I'm so happy. What happened? because whatever I had ordered on Amazon, it came. So he happy. Next day, what happened? Whatever he ordered some nice flip-flop. What is it? He ordered some nice flip-flop on Amazon.com. Then what happened? He will leave it outside by mistake and the dog chew it. The dog chewy flip-flop. So yesterday when it came by on Amazon, he was very happy. Today when the dog chew it, he feels to call the city pound for the dog. Miserable. Get vexed with the dog too. So, harsha vishad means one day happy, one day miserable. 1 minute happy, next minute miserable, like that. This is jiva. Then next one, jnana ajnana. This jiva, some things he knows, some things he doesn't know. Jnana ajnana. And this jiva is amazing actually. The scripture says some things he knows, some things he doesn't know. Scripture tells, but he thinks he knows everything. That's a different matter. This is jiva. Especially the children and the youngsters and college students. They think they know everything. So this is jiva dharma ahamiti abhimana. And he has so much of my. And I. This is jiva. Individual being. Bhagavan Shiva is telling. Then Rama Brahma Vyapaka Jagat Jana Paramananda Paresa Purana. And the scriptures tell that he is Purana Purusha. Purana Purusha means he is the ancient being. Pares, the Lord, who is beyond all things in this universe. Paramananda, supreme Ananda, this Lord. Brahma, the absolute reality, the substratum of the universe. Vyapak, all pervasive. The whole world knows the Lord to be like this. And he is Ram. So, Jiva is one thing and Ram is something else. Now, this is, you may say that the scriptures have contradictions or they don't. At another place, he'll say, very famous verse. All of you know this verse. Look here. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
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 Ishwara Ams Jeeva Vinashi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Ishwara Ams Jeeva Avinashi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Chetan Amal Sahaj Sukh Rashi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Ishwara Ams Jeeva Avinashi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Chetan Amal Sahaj Sukh Rashi.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
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 Syavar Ramachandra ki jai. So at another place we'll see in Uttarakhand and all. Ishwara Amsa Jiva Vid. That this Jiva is an Amsha, a fraction of that Paramatma, Ishvara also. And here the description is there are two separate things. So there is a technique used in teaching. I'm sure all of you would have encountered it if you have ever studied Economics 101. Anything you're studying in Economics 101, they tell you if demand increases, supply will increase. And then they always tell you, other things being equal. Have you heard that phrase? Other things being equal. If demand increases, supply will increase. Well, that other things being equal is, in ordinary language, you say, granted that other things remain the same. So in order for you to understand the concept, they say, let us hold other things remaining the same. But you know other things don't remain the same. But they say, let us just presume other things remain same. So let us presume for the moment that there is a difference between Jiva and Ishvara. So this will be the difference. But later on we'll tell you, they are one and same, because they are made up from the same stuff. What is that same stuff? Satchidananda, the technique in teaching. All traditions will have that in all forms of teaching. So Bhagavan Shiva continues like this, and still Parvati ji is listening. But I asked you to tell Ram Katha. But he's not telling Ram Katha, he's telling all introduction only to Ram Katha. This Ramcharitmanas is like that. The whole thing takes a long time to get off the ground. But you know, anything which is heavy is always difficult to get off the ground. So the Ramcharitmanas is packed with many things. They're heavy. Therefore it takes a long time to get off the ground. And here he tells now, and there's some very famous lines. Those of you after 117. I could not just let the Ramcharitmanas go without seeing these lines. You will hear, I've been hearing from childhood these lines. See. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
बिनु पद चलई सुनई बिनु काना कर बिनु करम प्रम विधि नाना
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
आनन रहित सकल रस भोगी बिनु बानी वक्ता बर जोगी
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
तन बिनु परस नयन बिनु देखा गहई ग्रान बिनु बास अशेषा
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
हसी सब भांति अलौकिक करई महिमा जासु जाई नहीं परनी
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय. No, you just imagine, somebody comes from Mars. No, I don't know if there's any people on Mars. If there is anybody on Mars. But suppose somebody comes from Mars. A Martian comes. And that Martian tells, I hear that you people on this earth, you have something called Gulab Jamun. Then you tell the Martian, yes, we have Gulab Jamun. So the Martian says, What does it taste like? Then you say it tastes sweet. The Martian asks you, what is sweet? Because in Mars we don't have anything sweet. The Martian asks you, what is sweet? Now explain. How you will explain? Sweet is like sugar. Let us say you tell the Martian. The Martian will say, I just told you we don't have anything like sugar, we don't have any sweet in Mars. How you will explain? You will say, sweet is like That time you become Gunga. Gunga means dumb. Because how you will explain? Because Martian doesn't know what is sweet. So the idea is, even ordinary things, I'm just saying ordinary thing is sugar. You cannot explain sweet. For an ordinary thing also you can't explain. To a person who has not experienced it before. A person who has never experienced that, you cannot explain. It's ordinary things. Bhagavan Shiva is telling in these verses we just chanted, it is Paramatma, which is an extraordinary thing. How I will explain? How will explain? If you cannot explain ordinary things. So therefore, in now, cryptic language as though, he tells these choppai, that's why they have become very famous. Binu pada chalai, without feet he walks. How to explain that Prabhu, that Lord? So binu pada chalai, without feet he walks. Sunai binu kana, without ears he listens. Because difficult to explain that Prabhu. Karabinu karamak karai bididana. Without hands he does everything. You know, Bhagavan is like, you know your father long time? All people my age and over, you're going to know this. Your father long time. When you're doing something, your father doesn't have to tell you stop, you know. Your father only has to do so. You're correct or not? Oh, no. You look like they have people my age here, you know. Means without doing anything, he could change your action. Correct or not? He doesn't have to say a word or get up and he only has to. Well, without hands, Bhagavan gets everything in this universe done. Tana binu parasanna yana binu dekha. Without skin, he's able to feel everything. And without eyes, he sees. Sarvata pani padam tat sarvato kshishiro mukham. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan goes lines and lines to describe all of these things. In the 13th chapter, you'll go and see. So, he has eyes. Sahasra shirsha purushaha sahasrakshat sahasrapat. 1,000 eyes and 1,000 hands and 1,000 feet. And it means everywhere his eyes and hands and feet are there, like that. And he gets everything done. He sees everything, he knows everything, like that. Grahi grana binu basa sesha. And without nose, he smells everything. Therefore, he concludes, Asisa bhavanti alaukika karane. All his actions are mysterious, my dear Parvati ji. How to tell you all about his Bhagavan? All his actions are mysterious. Mahima jasu jai nahi barani. And his greatness and his glory, his mahima jasu nahi barani. Nobody could ever explain. You see? And he says one more nice thing now. This is just before 119. See, that when we listen to this Ram Katha, a great disease, a human disease goes away. What human disease goes away? See now, this is just 119 ke pehle. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Suni Shiv ke Brahma Bhanjan Vachana, Mitagya Sab Khar Sad Khay Rachana.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Bhai Raghupati प्रतिपद प्रीति प्रतीति दारुण असंभावना बीति
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
पुनि पुनि प्रभु पद कमल गही जोरि परंतु पानी बोली गिरिजा बचन बर मनहु प्रेम रस सानि सियावर
रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम सीताराम सियावर रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम सीताराम सियावर रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम सीताराम.
Listening to the Ramcharitmanas, listening to the glories of Bhagwan and all these things is supposed to happen. Because human beings are full of this very bad durguna, what is called? This is called as kutark. Kutark means wrong argumentation, wrong understanding, wrong logic, wrong everything actually. And human beings are good at this. Right logic, right understanding, right. He's very, very bad at this thing. So Parvati ji listened, and then she herself now confesses. Sunisivake Brahma Bhanjana Bachana, listening to his most enlightening words. Mite gai sab kutaraka ke rachana. She, all the wrong argumentations from the mind, the argumentations go away. And this is one of our greatest stumbling blocks. Because anytime we doubt anything, it is because we have some wrong argumentation somewhere in the back of our head. He says like this, Baba said like that, Pandit said like that, but you have something else in your mind, some other argument, and you go by your argument and not by what the scriptures say. That argument which you have is called as kutark. Parvati ji said to Bhagwan Shiva, all my kutark has gone, and you missed out. This all came in Jamaica, and you were not there. There, all the kutark came there. She was expressing all of this. Wrong understanding. But now she says it is all gone. Bhairagupati pada priti pratiti. And now she developed faith in the feet of Bhagwan Ram. Daruna asambhavana biti. And the great, this is asambhavana word, is a big, nice Sanskrit word. It means to say the lack of faith and understanding in that higher reality. She says it went away like that. Puni puni Prabhupada Kamala Gahi. Again and again she fell on the feet of Bhagwan Shiva. And then she said, no, but you know, you told me many, many things. 10 dohas gone already. And I had asked you about Ram Katha, but you didn't tell anything about Ram Katha. And the first thing I asked you about, that also you did not tell. So she asked again. Now, see, this is just before 120. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
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 Ram Brahma Chinmaya Avinasi.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Sarvarahit Sabaur Purvasi.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama.
Nath Dhareu Naratanu Chei Hetu.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Varshaketu.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama.
Ram Brahma Chinmaya. I like this line because our Gurudev name is in this line, you know. Ram Brahma Chinmaya Avinasi. Ram is Brahma, the absolute reality, Paramatma, Ram. And he is Chinmaya. Chinmaya means a mass of consciousness, a limitless mass of consciousness. And he is Abhinasi. Abhinasi means he is imperishable. Nash in Sanskrit means to get destroyed, or to perish. Nash, Nash. So Avinash is without destructibility. Like that. Avinashi, in Avadi, Abhinasi, like that. Sarvarahit, Sarva Urapura Basi, is devoid of all traits and qualities and all this Upanishadic Ram, and he is there in the heart of all beings. Parvati ji is telling Nath, Hey Bhagwan Shiva, Hey Prabhu, Hey Nath, Dhareu Naratanu Kehi Hetu. For what reason that absolute reality, who is a mass of consciousness, who is all pervasive, devoid of all attributes and traits and qualities, for what reason Naratanu Kehi Hetu means Dhareu, he takes human form. For what reason? Mui samujhai kahu Vrishaketu. Oh, Vrishaketu is Bhagwan Shiva, another name for Bhagwan Shiva. Tell. For what reason he takes avatar? And Bhagwan Shiva again doesn't answer the question. So what he tells? See what he tells. This is now number 120. Kha. सुनु शुभ कथा भवानी रामचरित मानस विमल कहा भुषुंडी खानी सुना बिहग नायक गरुड़ कहा भुषुंडी बखानी बिहग नायक गरुड़ सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. सुनो सुबह कथा. Actually, why Bhagwan Shiva doesn't answer directly? Because there is one more Vakta which has not been introduced yet in this Ramcharitmanas. Now, what do you mean one more Vakta? Well, Ramcharitmanas is being told by 4 people simultaneously, this Ramkatha. 4 Vaktas, 4 speakers, and there are 4 listeners. So 3 have already been introduced, and the 4th one was not introduced so far. So, who has been introduced? Well, Tulsidaji is introduced in the beginning. Tulsidaji is telling to all of us. At the same time, Bhagwan Shiva is telling to Parvati ji. At the same time, Yajnavalkya is telling to Bharadwaj Muni. You missed out these days, we are in some other place. And at the same time, Kak Bhushundi is telling to Garud. So that Kak Bhushundi Garud Samvad, Kak Bhushundi speaking and Garud listening, this has not been introduced so far, but so now Bhagwan Shiva introduces the Kak Bhushundi. Sunu, oh my dear Parvati, Sunu, listen. Subha Katha, that most auspicious Katha. Hey Bhavani, Ramcharita Manasa Bimala, pure and very divine Ramcharita Manas. Listen to it. The Ramcharita, Kaha bhushundi bakhani. That was told by, that was related by Bhushundi, Kak Bhushundi. Suna Bihagan Nayak Garuda, and was listened to by the leader of all the birds, whose name was Garuda. So this last Samvad, Shrota Vakta Shrota, is now being introduced by Lord Shiva. So 4 people telling Ramcharitmanas simultaneously. And ours is, in our case, we are being told Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas ji, because we did not hear from Yajnavalkya, we did not hear from Bhagwan Shiva, we did not hear from Kakabhushundi. We are hearing all this from Tulsidas ji. And so Tulsidas ji is telling that Yajnavalkya told this to Bharadwaj, and Yajnavalkya told the story of Lord Shiva and Parvati, and Lord Shiva told the story of Kakabhushundi and Garud, like that. But all telling the one and the same thing. So now, after explaining like that, he tells, this is just before 1:2:1, why this Bhagwan takes avatar like this. Now you know, this is also answered by Bhagwan Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells to Arjuna, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharati bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. When there's a decline of dharma and a rise of adharma, unrighteousness, that time I come forth. Abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam, to remove the evil and bring about goodness. And dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yoge, to re-establish dharma. Again and again I come, I take avatar. Well, this Ramcharitmanas of Goswami Tulsidas ji is really a commentary on that Bhagavad Gita. So he writes exactly the same thing. Now see, this is after I told you just now, 1:1, 1:2:1. 1:2:1, couple lines before. Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram. जब जब होई धर्म के हानि, बारही असुर अधम अभिमानी।
श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम।
करही अनीति जाई नहीं बरनी, सीधई विप्रधेनु सुर धरनी।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम।
तब तब प्रभु धरि विविध शरीरा, हरहि कृपा निधि सज्जन पीरा।
श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम।
असुर मारि थापहि सुरन, राखहि निज श्रुति सेतु। जग विस्तारहि विशद जस, राम जन्म कर हेतु सियावर। सियावर रामचंद्र जय शरणम सीताराम। Exact words of Bhagavad Gita. जब जब होई धर्म के हानि, whenever, see, yada yada hi dharmasya glani, there. जब जब होई धर्म के हानि, exact same meaning. When there is the threat to dharma, when there is a decline of dharma, like that. Bardhahi asura adham abhimani, and now the line changed. Tulsidas gives a nice flavor. You know, so one person cooking baigan and another person cooking baigan is two different things, isn't it? One person will cook baigan and I think bland. And another cooked the baigan and it's nice and spicy and everything. So Tulsidaji is able to spice up all the... So when dharma is strengthened, then Badhahi Asura. And the number of Asuras, Rakshasas and all, they increase. They grow in power and strength and might and all of that, and influence. And Adhama Abhimani, in their atrocities and in their vileness, in their wickedness and all, they grow and flouting their egos everywhere and all that. When that thing happens, see, he's adding color to the whole. Because the dramas do. Karahi Aniti. And they go on propagating all, what Aniti means, improprieties everywhere, or wrong things they go on doing. Jai Nahi Bharane, which goes beyond description. Corruption and cruelty and evil everywhere they spread, beyond description. Sidahi Bipradhenu Sura Dharani. And they bring so much of untold misery to all the brahmanas, to all the cows, to all the devatas, to the earth, to everybody. Good people, sadhu, babaji, every day bring trouble to everybody. Taba Taba Prabhu, Dharahi Bividashari. That time, Bhagwan takes various avatars like that. When these wicked people take ascendance and they overpower everybody and they engage in their wickedness like that and spread it all over the world. Dharahi Kripanidhi Sajjana Pira. And feeling the pain of all the good people, Bhagwan takes avatar. Asura Mari Thapahi Surana. And Bhagwan removes all these asuras and all when he takes avatar, when he incarnates. And Rakhai Nija Shruti Setu. And re-establishes the teachings of the scriptures and proper sanskar in society and all of that. Jagabistarahi Bisada Jasa. And this is a very interesting thing. And he spreads his name and fame across the whole earth. Rama Janmakara Hetu. One of the reasons for coming is to spread his fame across the whole earth. So you will always hear, see, look here. So many people will name their children Ram. Some variation of Ram. Ramdas. Some Ramcharan. No, Ram, is their name. You ever hear anybody named Ravan Charan? Ravan Das? Because Bhagwan's name and his fame has spread so wide all over the world. Here and also in Trinidad also, look how far away his name has come. So many places you'll see the name of Ram and names of streets and this and that, isn't it? People will name their children also. So many people name their daughters Sita. But you ever hear anybody name their daughter Shurpanakha? Or Putna? Nobody will name. Because the name of Bhagwan, the name of the Devi also spreads nicely. So this is actually mentioned. If you don't see it mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Jaga Bistarahi Bisada Jasa Rama Janmakara Hetu. One of the reasons for the avatar is to spread his name so that people will take that name also and they will purify their life. When he spread his glory and his name across the earth. So the person will say, I want to be like Bhagwan Ram. Bhagwan Ram is to wake up early in the morning. I don't want to be like Ravan, 9 o'clock he's still sleeping. His name also inspires. He writes about the name previously. Tulsidaji writes about the name of Bhagwan Ram. Rama ekatapas tiyatari nama koti khala kumati sudhari. Means Rama he himself saved one Ahalya. But his name has saved countless wicked people also. So one of the purpose of the avatar is to spread his name. This is a nice thing. This is an idea which doesn't come in Bhagavad Gita at all. Huh? Now, Bhagavan Shiva tells this is the classic reason why the Lord takes avatar, because there's a decline of dharma and a rise of adharma, unrighteousness, and all that. But now Bhagavan Shiva tells something very interesting. Now see, listen to his words. Ram janma ke hetu aneka.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Param vichitra ek te eka.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Janam ek dui kahau bakhani.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Savdhan suno kumati bhavani.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Savdhan suno sumati bhavani.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Jai Raghu Rama.
Jaya Raghu Rama.
Jai Sita Rama.
Jai Sita Rama.
Syamar Ramachandra ki jai. Ram janma ke hetu aneka. The reasons why Bhagavan has taken birth, countless reasons are there. Bhagavan Shiva means to say, if I start telling you, there'll be no end. Bhagavan took birth because of this, so many things happen. Bhagavan took birth because of so many. Simple thing, for example, Bhagavan had to take a birth so that he'll have to come and bless this Kevat. Because Kevat had done the punya karma in a previous loka, in a previous birth. And Bhagavan is owing this blessing. So his reasons for taking birth are just numerous. Bhagavan Shiva says, Ram janma ke hetu aneka. Aneka means countless. Parama vichitra ekate eka. And one greater than the next. All amazing. And each one greater than the next. Fir janma ek dui kahau. Now I'm going to tell you one or two. Just exact ek dui. Just how we speak in Trini, I think we must have from Ramcharitmanas we learned to speak like that. I would tell you one or two. Ek dui. So I'll tell you one or two reasons why Bhagavan took avatar. Savdhana sunu, Sumati Bhavani. You listen carefully, oh Bhavani. I'm going to tell now why Bhagavan Ram. Well, the first one is Bhagavan Ram took avatar because of two fellows called Jai and Vijay. Then they go next story. Bhagavan Ram took avatar because of another fellow called Pratap Bhanu. Then another story, Bhagavan Ram took avatar because of big story with Narad Muni. And like that, he'll tell, but this is all long, but he'll have to tell tomorrow. Because now our time is over. But this is where we'll continue. Why Bhagavan Ram took avatar. What is this story of Jai and Vijay? All that will be told here now. What is the Pratap Bhanu and why Narad? Because of Narad also he took avatar. That story will come. That's a very interesting story. Okay. So now let me tell you some announcements and all. And then we will continue. From here, after we finish in the next few days here, we're going to St. Lucia, then to Bahamas, then to Aruba, in Guyana, St. Martin, Suriname, Ityad. Those of you who can make it, please do come. I know some people are going to some of the islands and all. Bharviha classes for children are going on Sunday morning. You can bring children at the ashram, or you can even enroll them online. We have online Bharviha, which is administered from US. But here, in person, you can bring children at the ashram on a Sunday morning. Please tell others also. At our Tapovan Kailasheshwar Shiva ashram in our, not Himalayas, I was about to say Himalayas, in our Kumak, inside that road, we are going to have the Sthapana of Bhagwan Shiva, Kailasheshwar Shiva, on the 30th of April. Those of you who have a good 4x4 with off-road tires, come. Those of you who don't have a good 4x4 with off-road tires, you can come and walk. You can come and walk there. Yeah. But we have about 50, 60 spaces in our off-road vehicles and all. So those of you who want a space, you have to tell no. This happens on the 30th of April. Huh? Varsha Pratipada Sansad, the Hindu New Year celebration which we have every year, is on the 7th of May at the Hindu Prachar Kendra. Please do come and be a part of this program. It's a celebration of, I tell you what we are celebrating this year. We are celebrating the rise of Bharat Desh. India has now come up in the world, and the whole world is looking towards India for many, many, many things. And that is not going to decrease, that is going to increase. And if they're looking to India for economic gains and looking for India for diplomacy across the world, looking to India to be a leader in so many, India is now becoming or being called as Jagat Guru, leadership and enlightenment in so many areas. Pretty soon also, people will be asking all of you, so what is this Sanatan Dharma? I heard that in India there is something called Sanatan Dharma. What is this? Why is it called Bharat? So, because it is coming up, you also have to be prepared to let people know, well, this is where your Sanatan Dharma comes from, what is Sanatan Dharma, and all of that. So we'll be talking about all of these things in this year, in Hindu New Year. Huh? All right. Then what else? Chais and Melan on 30th of May. At the ashram, we have a big tea party, and you can come and have some delectable chai and very delicious, what is called scrumptious finger foods and delicacies and all. You can come and have something on the 30th of May. Then this Caribbean tour is costing average about 3,000 TT for a ticket to go to one of the islands. If there's anybody who wants to sponsor a ticket, please do so. Garam Masala Indian vegetarian restaurant at the ashram offers catering, dining, all you can eat buffet, takeaway, food drop delivery, and so on Tuesdays and Sundays. Please come and try out the restaurant at the ashram. Tomorrow night, Fireburn Temple. Ukwaya or Ukwaya? Ukwaya? Ukwaya. Ukwaya Road in Freeport. It's very close to the highway. Ukwiri. Ukwiri. Okay. Ukwiri Road, Freeport. Fireburn Temple. In the village there, it is called Fireburn Temple. So please come and join tomorrow. Okay. Before we have the Aarti, let me say a very special thank you to Vedji and Amma for hosting us tonight. It's such a delightful thing to be here once more. Vedji was saying that welcome home. It really feels like home. Thank you. And recently, for all of those of you who are here who don't know, we had our Padayatra from Blanchi Shares Gangadhara. We walked out onto the eastern main road and we walked up to Kumak Road and walked all the way to Tapovan Ashram over 3 days. One of the days we stayed at their nice, wonderful ashram on that Kumak Road. That place is really divine, very quiet, and all you hear is birds and all the night creatures and all, no sound. And we had such a great time. Prior to reaching Tapovan Ashram, we stayed in their ashram. Thank you so much. Okay, आरती के लिए सब खड़े हो जाइए, बाद में देखेंगे. You'll say a few words after. आरती श्री रामायण जी की.
आरती श्री रामायण जी
कीरति कलित ललित सिय सारद
सुख सरकारी शेष और सारद
बरनी पवन सुत कीरतिनी की
बरनी पवन सुत कीरतिनी की आरती श्री राम आयनी की कीरत कली कल लेखसी
गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश जो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस मुनि जन धन संतन को सर्वस सार अंश सम्मत सब ही गावत संतत शंभु भवानी अरुघत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि बर जब खानी काग भुषुंदिन कलिमल हरनि विषय रस फीकी सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति जुवती की जलन रोग मम मूली अमीती काट मात सब विधि तुलसी की शंभु भवानी बोलो शंभु भवानी हर शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी गावत संतत शंभु भवानी बोलो शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी हर शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी गावत संतत शंभु भवानी गावत संतत शंभु भवानी गावत संतत शंभु भवानी गावत संतत शंभु भवानी बोलो शंभु भवानी बोलो शंभु भवानी हर शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी बोलो शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी शंभु भवानी हर शंभु भवानी हर शंभु भवानी रसियावर रामचंद्र की जय Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garuda Dvaja Mangalam Punarikaksham Mangalayatano Hari Mangalam Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhush cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om Bolo Syavar Ramachandra ki jai Pavan Sut Hanuman ki jai बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव हरि ओम प्लीज ऑल सिट
Syapati Ramachandra ki jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai. Emptying of the mind is the first and only instructions to start to begin to listen to the Ramcharitmanas. Emptying the mind. It is said that every time we hear the Ramcharitmanas, we hear a different nectar, a different portion of sweetness that we have to describe to the Martian. Yes, Swamiji? I think sitting in the couch there, right, I would label myself as a Martian, because that is what you do when you sit in the presence of the great Mahatmas like today, the Swami, who is expounding our scripture onto us. And it is the means by which when the mind becomes empty, we're able to be the absorber and to take in the scriptural knowledge. And again, tonight, you know, when you go and you sit, you decide to go with your family or your friends, etc. You want to go to the movies, right? And you pay your admin ticket and you go in and you might get your popcorn, etc. And you sit down and you're waiting for the movie to begin. What do you see before? You see a trailer. And it gives you the previews to the movies to come, but not the one that you come to see, right? And this is what we had tonight in these very few verses. We got an introduction, a short trailer that has been explained in the most sweetest of ways to us to understand and to take home that knowledge or that nectar with us. And for those of you listening here, as well as those of you listening on the live feed, it would reminisce with you in some way or the other. And it would make the vessel, which is this body, through the Atma of the soul, to be charged simply by listening to the sweetness of Ramcharitmanas. But one step further than listening to Ramcharitmanas is listening to the person who is bringing that scriptural knowledge across to us. And it was done so tonight in a very, very spectacular manner, because we were able to understand in a very simple way and laugh along with one or two jokes in between so that it sinks in. I'm saying it sounds funny, but the thing is, it is the only means by which we are human, and the mind is very chanchal. And it tends to be distracted. And especially when we sit in prayer, or in particular, we sit and we try to do meditation or jap, that is the time when the mind wants to run away. But what brings it under control is the Guru. The words of the Guru. The meditation upon the Guru's feet. And that brings us to the oneness of our Sri Ram, of our Durga Devi, Buddha, Sai, whichever you want to call him. It is that single-pointed devotional knowledge, or the knowledge in which we seek, that gives us the enlightenment and the bliss that we experience as a soul. And that is what we get by listening to Ramayana Satsang. So for those of you, some of you, hearing Swamiji for the first time here in the village, or listening on and listening to Swamiji for the first time, I hope your mind became empty and tonight it left full. It gives me great joy and great pleasure to greet Swamiji here. As he said, when he came out Digvan, I tell him, welcome home. Because home is where the heart is, and the heart is where the Guru is. And the Guru's knowledge is being expounded, so that is where we all are. You all are lucky you get to be at his feet every single day and listen to this. I wish I could. But the point is, for example, he mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the Friday before Shivratri, I joined them for that satsang up in Kumak. And if you all know Kumak very well, Swamiji was very correct. Please venture there in a SUV or 4x4, because you wouldn't be able to make it if you have, the Tida and thing. You wouldn't make it up that road. But being in satsang that evening, it also gives us the knowledge. It gives us the presence of mind, no matter where we are, in whichever setting. The sweetness in which we connect to the Lord with is from within. Chanting the name of the Lord in repetition also burns away the karmic values and the vasanas of the previous life's karma, as well as this life. And I can speak for myself, according to our scriptural knowledge and our teachings, we are all here in the human form, and we're very lucky to have it. But we are here because we have a mission, we have a goal, and that is to be in one with our Maker. So when the soul is ready to depart this body, we go directly to the Lord. And Swamiji is helping hundreds and thousands of people do that by simply being in his presence. And for those of you who are lucky enough to hear him and hear the extracts of our great magical scripture, it takes us to a realm where we are protected by a light, and our body is encased or enshrined in a bubble of protection of the Lord and the Lord's divine wisdom, so that it takes us from where we are and to where we ought to be. And with that very simple message, I thank all of you for joining us this evening. Krishna ji for joining us with the music, sound engineer tonight, our broadcasters who are helping us, Ashton tonight, as he always does in all our functions, to make this presentation reach the homes of those persons who are unable to be here. And more so, being able to listen to this again and again as it's posted onto the YouTube page as well as Facebook, so it can be shared. And it also, if you wish or you think you would have missed something from tonight, you go and you play it back. And for those of you, I don't know, Swamiji must have a contract with Amazon, because he used Amazon name a couple times tonight. When you're broadcasting on a page on Facebook, there are certain songs, sometimes when you sing, because of copyright laws, Facebook pulls down your video. But for pages like this, non-profit organizations, you use the disclaimer stating that you don't own the rights to the music, etc., so that it stays there and it's able to be shared and distributed, etc. We're lucky we had that disclaimer tonight, because we had a couple entities' names being freely advertised. But again, it brings us back to the purpose in which we are here, and it is to experience our Bhagwan through a medium. And tonight, that medium is none other than Swamiji. So thank you, Swamiji, for being here and doing what you do and continue to doing what you're doing. You know, last year, we would have also welcomed you on the 108 Nights of Ramayana Satsang last year on the 21st of January, 2022, which would have been my dad's 71st birthday, and we celebrated that in a very lovely satsang on that night. And tonight, again, we welcome you again, and we welcome you each and any time you want to be here.
Thank you.
Or even in Kumak too. So I thank you all for, on behalf of my mom, my two brothers, my sister, my brother-in-law, and young Bradley, my nephew. I don't know where he's run around to, but please join us for Bhojan afterwards. Join with the Mahaprasadam. Please get to your homes safely. Our next function here is Ramayana Satsang on the 5th of April for Hanuman Jayanti, joined by Guruji Pandit Abhiranand Persad Sharma, who will be joining us that night in Satsang, as well as Hanuman Chalisa chanting. So you could take this as a personal invitation from now. And I know you have, Swamiji has a very hectic schedule. And he's no longer touring 108 temples in Trinidad, but he's touching different countries. So I think next year, it wouldn't be a Caribbean tour, it might be a world tour. You know, so we might have to join him in New Zealand and Australia and China.
Actually, we thought of it.
The beach, the seed. Once the seed is planted by the Guru, what happens? The devotees. One of the very first explanations this evening is how do we become connected to the Lord, and how does the Lord come near and close to us? Do you remember what he said? What did he say? She says she can't remember. Swamiji said, the Lord comes in the aid of his devotee when his devotee is in distress or at the name of chanting of the Lord. So whatever you chant, I think she in some aid right now. She needs some help. She remember, you know, she just temporarily forget. And I will tell you why she forgot. She forgot because the couple of jokes in between with the Amazon and thing, that one just slip a little bit. But that's okay. That's why we have it recorded, so she could play it back. But again, thank you very much for joining us. And again, join us for a meal. Meals are prepared right at the back to my left. And if it tastes good, I cook it. If it didn't taste good, it wasn't me. Jai Sri Ram.
कुछ भी सब काम हो रहा है।
करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, सब काम हो रहा है।
करते हो तुम ही भगवन, मेरा नाम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम ही भगवन, मेरा नाम हो रहा है।
श्री राम की कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है।
श्री राम की कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। तुम साथ हो जो मेरे, किस चीज की कमी